For decades, the MonsterVerse has been defined by its kings, the power of Godzilla, the strength of Kong. But every now and then, the world is reminded that the throne is always up for grabs. In the second season of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, a new player has entered the game. A force so ancient, so powerful, and so terrifying that it might just make Godzilla and Kong look like they've been playing in the minor leagues. Its name is Titan X. But what exactly is this creature? Where did it come from? Does it have the power to stand against or even defeat the two reigning champions of the MonsterVerse? And what do its first rampages in the season premiere tell us about the cataclysm to come? Get ready to dive deep. We are breaking down everything you need to know about Titan X, its origins, its powers, and why it might be the biggest threat the MonsterVerse has ever faced. Origin, the god of the sea. To understand Titan X, we have to look to the past. In the 1957 flashback sequences of Season 2, Lee Shaw and Keiko Miura find themselves in the remote Chilean village of Santa Soledad. The locals aren't just unfriendly, they're terrified. They worship something, a sea god. These villagers aren't primitive superstitionists. They are keepers of a terrible secret. Cave paintings on their walls depict a massive, Kraken-like entity, a creature they believe provides for them and protects them. We later learn this god would appear with thousands of smaller creatures, the Scarabs that would swarm from the earth and into the sea to meet it. In Episode 2, Resonance, the horrifying truth is revealed. The villagers, in a twisted ritual, drug the Monarch agents and summon the Scarabs. Lee and Keiko are chased to the shore, surrounded. And then, she rises. Titan X emerges from the ocean, not just as a random predator, but as a mother. The Scarabs are her children. The villagers weren't just worshipping a god of destruction, they were witnessing the bond between a mother and her brood. This maternal instinct is the single most important detail about Titan X. It explains her behavior, her rage, and her vulnerability. For roughly 200 years, she vanished from Earth, possibly retreating to the dimension known as Axis Mundi, until the events of the present day dragged her back. In the present timeline of 2017, Kate Randa and her family attempt to rescue Lee Shaw from Axis Mundi by opening a portal on Skull Island. They succeed in saving Shaw, but they leave the door open just a moment too long. Titan X, resting within that dimension, follows them through. She emerges onto Skull Island, kills Monarch Deputy Director Natalia Verdugo without a second thought, and slides into the ocean, leaving even Kong stranded and frustrated at the water's edge. The great god of the sea has returned. Appearance and abilities. A living cataclysm. The producers of Monarch have stated they strive to root these titans in reality, and Titan X is no exception. She is essentially the MonsterVerse's answer to the legendary Kraken, mixed with the terrifying biology of deep-sea creatures. Her design is a masterpiece of biological horror. She possesses a massive reptilian head filled with snaggle-toothed jaws. Her most striking feature is her eyes. Each one has a double iris and pupil, giving her an unsettling alien appearance, like two sideways figures, 8. Bioluminescent blue light pulses throughout her body, glowing from within, a trait common in the abyssal depths where sunlight never reaches. But her primary weapons are her tentacles. These aren't just simple squid arms. They are colossal, powerful appendages armed with enormous, serrated hooks, like those of a colossal squid, designed to tear through flesh and metal alike. The official description from Apple TV calls her a living cataclysm, and the trailers show her using these tentacles to drag entire ships beneath the waves. Beyond her physical might, Titan X has shown a unique and terrifying set of abilities. Amphibious nature. While she is an aquatic titan, she is fully capable of moving onto land. We see her emerge on Skull Island and later move through coastal waters, giving her a tactical advantage over purely terrestrial foes. Psychic resonance. Perhaps her most mysterious ability is a form of psychic or empathic connection. In the 1957 flashback, Keiko feels vibrations and a connection to the creature that Lee cannot. In the present, Kate experiences a physical rush of emotion and energy when Titan X's energy washes over her feet. The show hints that Titan X may have a specific connection to women, sensing their presence and emotions. Mother-child bond. The Scarabs are not just parasites. They are an extension of Titan X herself. When one of the Scarabs is wounded on the Monarch ship in Episode 2, it lets out a high-pitched scream. Titan X, who is heading for a busy shipping channel, immediately abandons her course and turns back 180 degrees to rescue her child. This bond makes her unpredictable and incredibly dangerous. Attack the brood, and you invite the mother's unstoppable wrath. Titan X versus the Kings. So, The question on everyone's mind: how does Titan X stack up against Godzilla and Kong? The cast and crew have been clear that she is intended as a rival to both. Joe Tippett, Tim, teased that we might soon be debating if there is a new king or queen of the Titans. Let's break down those hypothetical matchups. Titan X versus Kong. We've already had a taste of this fight, and it was a stalemate at best for the Eighth Wonder. On Skull Island, Kong charged at Titan X as she made for the sea, but he was too late. Once she hit deep water, Kong couldn't follow. If they fought in a coastal environment, Kong would be at a massive disadvantage. Kong is a brawler, a boxer. He uses his fists and his agility. Titan X is a grappler. Her tentacles are her greatest weapon against him. Kong throws a punch. A tentacle wraps around his arm. He goes for a tackle. Tentacles wrap around his legs and throat. Titan X's strategy would be to restrain, constrict, and drown. She would use her weight and the water to drag him under, neutralizing his power and his breath. In the water, Kong doesn't stand a chance. On land, it would be a closer fight, but those hooks and tentacles would make it a bloody, brutal war of attrition that Kong might not win without help. Titan X versus Godzilla. This is the big one. The king of the monsters versus the new queen of the deep. On the surface, this looks like Godzilla's fight to lose. He's also aquatic. He also has immense power. But Titan X presents a unique challenge. Godzilla's primary weapon is his atomic breath. It's a ranged, armor-piercing heat ray. But Titan X's tentacles change the geometry of the fight. In close quarters, she could use those massive limbs to manipulate Godzilla's head, forcing his atomic fire away from her body and into the sky or the sea. She could throttle him, blinding him by wrapping tentacles around his face and eyes. Furthermore, Titan X is described by some sources as potentially larger than Godzilla. If she can match him in size and use her superior number of grappling limbs, she could take the fight out of her element and make it a contest of brute strength and endurance, where her hooks could slowly tear through even Godzilla's thick hide. The title sequence of Monarch Season 2 has teased a terrifying possibility, that Godzilla and Kong may actually need to team up to stop her. If a single Titan requires the combined force of Earth's two mightiest protectors, then we aren't just looking at a rival, we're looking at an extinction-level event. Episode Breakdown: The First Signs of War. Let's quickly recap exactly what Titan X has done so far, because her actions tell us everything about her intelligence and her threat level. Episode 1. Cause and Effect. Titan X is accidentally released from Axis Mundi onto Skull Island. She doesn't stop to fight Kong. She immediately kills a high-value target, Deputy Director Verdugo, and makes a tactical retreat to her domain, the ocean. She understands her environment and doesn't waste time on a fight she doesn't need. Episode 2. Resonance. This is where we see her true nature. After a Scarab is wounded on a Monarch ship, it screams. Titan X hears it from miles away. She is en route to attack a shipping channel, which would have caused a global catastrophe, but the moment her child cries out, she stops. She turns around. She abandons the attack to rescue her offspring. Lee Shaw uses this bond to save the ship, taking the wounded Scarab in a speedboat and sacrificing himself to draw her away. Titan X gently retrieves her child and drifts away, for now. This tells us she is not just a mindless beast. She is a protector. She is a mother. And if humanity or Kong or Godzilla hurts her children, she will not rest until she has exacted revenge. What happens next? The future of Titan X. So, what's next for this terrifying new Titan? The title of the season hasn't even finished airing, but we can speculate. Monarch now knows that Titan X is driven by a maternal instinct. That is both a weakness and a danger. The Scarab threat. The Scarabs are still out there. If they start swarming coastlines, Monarch will be forced to act. And any action against the Scarabs will be seen as an act of war by Titan X. The Kong rematch. Kong is not one to let an intruder swim away from his island. He is territorial. At some point, he will likely engage Titan X again, and next time, he might be prepared for the water. Or he might try to lure her onto land. Godzilla's arrival. Godzilla is the alpha. He maintains the balance of nature. The emergence of a Titan of this power level, especially one causing massive disruptions in the ocean, will not go unnoticed by him. It's only a matter of time before the king of the monsters comes to investigate this usurper.